Welcome to the Greater Than campaign. Our campaign is designed to bring awareness to the struggles life can place upon us and the conquerors who overcome them. The purpose of the campaign is to share stories of people dealing with complex issues with the intention of spreading hope to those who may face similar struggles.
Welcome to the Greater Than campaign. My name is Bird, and I will be the guest host for this series. For the month of October, we'll be discussing breast cancer. I will be interviewing Mika, who will be discussing the impact that it's had on her life. So, Mika, can you tell me about her?
Her name was Angie, and she was my best friend slash sister.
So, if you can go a little bit deeper into your background, how did you guys meet, and tell me the impact that she had on you?
We met in high school, freshman year.
Okay.
Empty lunchroom table at Dunbar. And basically, freshman jitters trying to find friends. And I was at the lunchroom table alone, and I remember her joining me. And we just found out we had similar things in common. And we both were super silly, like super goofy. And I call her my Capricorn baby because we just meshed. I'm a Scorpio, so we just like meshed. And we just hit it off.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about her before the diagnosis.
Before the diagnosis, Angie basically was just a chill individual, someone that would she was an introvert, but kind of like me, an extrovert too. So she was just like talk to anybody. You feel comfortable around her, like telling her everything. Like she knew everyone's secrets because she was just so chill. Like she would get you to say anything and just laid back, super goofy, super silly, and just chill, just laid back. That's just her vibe. She just had this vibe that you could just sit around her for hours, and she just made you feel at home.
Okay. So tell me about when you actually found out about her diagnosis.
She called me back in 2015. It was like a fall day. It was a sunny fall day. And I had just got off from work, working the morning shift. And she was really calm. And she was basically like, you remember those back problems I was having? I was like, yeah, you've been taking like hella pills for it. What's up? Well, they found out I had stage 4 cancer. And I was just like, and at the time she didn't say what type of cancer it was. But like, just found out I had cancer. And I was just like, immediately, like, how are you feeling right now?
Right.
She was like, I'm good. Just got to start treatment right away. And I just tried to hold it in for her. There was no tears. She was calm. I was calm. And basically, we had sick humor. So I was just like, bitch, like, when you start losing your hair, what kind of wig you going to get? And in the casket, I'm going to make sure you have a bomb-ass wig, okay? And we just laughed about it. And I was like, nah, you're going to be good. You're going to get through this shit, G. That's exactly what I said to her. She was like, cool. Once I got off the phone with her, I immediately just started, like, thinking, like, how, what happened. I knew she was very stressed prior to the diagnosis. And I just kept thinking that probably is what set it off. She was very stressed prior to the diagnosis. And I called my other best friend, Michelle, and told her. And we just basically, that's when I started to cry.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Okay. So how long did she fight it?
4 years. Stage 4 for 4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So did she do any treatments or?
Yes, she did chemo.
Okay.
For most of it. And after 2 years, it did go into like remission. But then it came back.
Okay. So what was the biggest change you saw in her after her diagnosis?
Physical.
Okay.
I would say physical would be first. After her birthday, first time seeing her, she was drastically thinner. She was always a slim girl, but she had picked up a little weight just due to getting older. But she was definitely slimmer, and she had no eyebrows, and she had on a wig, and her skin was darker, probably from the chemo.
Okay.
So those were the things I noticed, and it just took a minute for me to kind of adjust and hold it in and not break down when seeing her for the first time.
Okay. So did you see any change in her when you spoke with her, like mentally or anything
Yeah,
like that?
mentally, she seemed distant. Like I said, she would hide out a lot, months at a time.
Okay.
And it was hard to get in contact with her. And if you did, it was via text. And I had to grow to understand that was the relationship during those 4 years of her being diagnosed with cancer. Was she may disappear for a few months, just text her, check on her, and you may see her. You know, it was all on her time, whatever she wanted to do, like whenever she was ready for us to see her. So that was like the relationship for a while, and I got used to it.
Okay. I know, because with that being your best friend, I know that had to be a little difficult. So
Yeah, it
how
was
did you
definitely hard.
take that?
Yeah, it was definitely hard because it went from like before she told us that fall, we were just at the Erykah Badu concert at the Taste that summer. And that was the last time she was normal, you know? So, and we would hang out all the time. We would always be kicking it, like always be out. She loved to eat. She loved to hang out. She loved music. So it was hard not seeing her often as you know, because I want to spend as much time with her as possible. Not to say I predicted that she would die, but just because that was just the right thing to do.
Right. Okay. So for you, towards the end, what was that experience like for her?
For me, towards the end, how was the experience for her?
So did the relationship get even more distant? Did you know that it was coming? Did she know that it was coming?
I think after 2 years in, she started to hang out a little bit more.
Okay.
Because she went to remission and she felt a little better. They switched up the treatment. She was taking pills, and because she's like, I feel like, you know, the lumps were shrinking in her back, and she just felt a little bit better. So we were hanging out a little bit more.
Okay.
So yeah, but it was so funny because from the time she called and told me, I'm always thinking about my health and everyone around me health. And like I said, she was super stressed prior to the diagnosis. So I was like, I'm sure it was that. I'm sure it was the job. I'm sure it was her diet. She consumed a lot of sugar, was a big meat eater. So all these things. And I talked to a lot of people that survived cancer. And I was like, what was it? What do you think it was? You know, forget what the doctor said and the TV said. And they're like, oh, it's this, it's your diet, it's this, this, this. And I remember I had a conversation with her one day, and I was like, you might have to give up meat, G. Like, you might have to, like, change your diet. And she's like, why would I stop eating meat? And I was just like, frustrated. I was frustrated. So I was just like, gee, like, you gotta change something, you know? So.
Have you made any changes in your life?
Oh, absolutely. Even before then, because my grandma had passed away from cancer.
Okay.
So that was the first person I ever encountered going through the disease. So my diet was already, and my diet continually changes due to that, and the older I get. So I'm heavy on not living a stressful lifestyle, not consuming so much sugar. That really definitely put me in a place where it's like, I want to change more and more and eliminate things from my life, which I did.
Okay. So, okay, tell me about the last interaction that you had with her.
The last interaction. So, April of this year, I think it was, early April, we went to Hooters.
Okay.
I think I called her. She called. She's like, I want to hang out more. Like, I hadn't seen her for a few months because she was doing, you know, every 3 months we would see each other. And I was like, let's go to Hooters. Let's eat. That was our thing to do.
Right.
Like, meet me downtown. She wasn't driving because she couldn't drive anymore. Okay. So she took an Uber down there. We met up. And, of course, her appetite was gone. So she ate a few shrimp or whatever like that. And we talked. Her voice was gone.
Okay.
Like, it was very, like, it wasn't there. She was whispering, basically. And I said, oh, you sick? You got a cold? She was like, no, the medication I had took my voice out. I'll never have it again. Like, I'll never talk the same again. And she was a chatterbox. So Angie not talking was like, and for some reason, something just flashed before my eyes. Like, I was like, this is going to be it soon. I don't know why. And I didn't want to feel that way, but my intuition just was like, this is going to be it soon. And I was like, damn, Gene, I tried to hold it in. Like, I had sunglasses on the whole time.
Right.
And I shed a couple tears, but I'm like, I hope she didn't see me with dark sunglasses. And I was full when she was a little full. I'm like, let's walk off this food a little bit until you get tired and we can get in the Uber. So she was starting to get tired after the first block, and we shared an Uber home. And I was like, man, I stayed right down the street from your son's school, because she had a child, which is also something that is hard, because he's only 5. So she's like, you stay right down the school, right down the street from my son's school. And I'm like, yeah, so you can come over anytime. I'm right up the street. She's like, I'm gonna have to do that. And I'm like, Michelle, my other best friend, I'm like, her birthday coming up, you gonna come to dinner for, she's like, yes, definitely, I'll be there. I'm like, cool, perfect. She came to the dinner for my other best friend Michelle's birthday. It was nice seeing her. She definitely was looking different to everybody else who hadn't seen her in a while. And but it was nice. It was good. I had a non-alcoholic drink, cocktail and stuff, and it was nice. I think it was maybe June. She was like, I want to go see India Ari at the Taste. That was one of her favorite artists, because she was related to her, because she was a dark-skinned girl, and she felt she wasn't, desirable, so on and so forth. And I'm like, we're there. Anything Angie ever wanted to do, I was 4 hours in line for a restaurant. If we going wherever she wanted to go, I was going.
Right.
I would drop anything, I would go. So she's like, I'm gonna see India Ari. I was like, cool. I'll take the day off. We're gonna pack up a little picnic. We're gonna have a good time. She's like, cool. So leading up to the India Ari event, of course, I'm a planner. I was like, okay, so we're ready. We're gonna go. What we're gonna do? How we're gonna do this? I'm at the hospital right now, and I don't even know how long I have, but I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Okay.
And I remember I was on the bus, and I was off that day. And I was like, what hospital are you at right now? She let me know. I'm like, I'm about to go visit you. I'm stopping everything I'm doing right now. I'm coming to see you. I go to the hospital, and she's way thinner. No wig this time, just raw Angie. And we talked, and everything was good. She was happy to see me. And I spent some hours in the hospital with her. And I was like, I'll come back to visit you a few days later. Came back to visit her a few days later. It was a different tone. The doctors that came in and was like, so are you preparing yourself? And she was like, no, I want to fight it. Like, I want to fight it. They're like, you sure? Because we don't know if your insurance is going to cover it. And immediately I just go off on the nurse that comes in, because the nurse wasn't the nurse that was supposed to say that to her. And I'm like, you're not supposed to be the one delivering this news. And I just seen a whole different aspect of everything, and just her struggling, looking through her papers, trying to find insurance papers, calling her mom looking for stuff. It's just, shit got real. And she was kind of embarrassed. Because like I said, she was a private person. And I was just like, you good? She's like, yeah, I'm good. It's just my mom don't know what the hell she doing, and the insurance is supposed to be covered, and I'm not trying to hear that. And it was just bad. And I'm like, it's gonna be good, G. You're gonna be good. They're gonna cover it. The insurance is supposed to cover it. They're gonna cover it. You're gonna be good. You're gonna be cool. She's like, yeah, okay. And I had been texting her after that just to check. And she's like, yeah, the insurance covered it. And I'll be going straight into chemotherapy. Okay. I was like, good. Okay, well, keep me posted. Keep me posted. I know it'll probably be another while before I seen her. I would say maybe a month later, I get a Facebook message from one of her close friends that she went to church with that was closer to the family, Arnisha. And she tells me that Angie said to me, make sure my baby's okay. And that she was about to go into hospice care. And it's time to be near her.
Okay.
And it could be a month or 2 months, we don't know, but just it's time. And once again, she was at hospice care at her mom's house. Our mom been staying at the same address since we were, teenagers. So basically, I just went over there. Her baby dad was over there too. with her the whole time, by her side the whole time. Went there with him, sat at the bedside with her. She was still, and she knew who I was. She was still, and it's so funny. I was late, fashionably late, which I can be sometimes, and she was mad at me.
Okay.
So she's just sitting on the bed in the little tiny bedroom of her mom's house, and she really doesn't acknowledge me for a while. She's like talking to the baby father. She's like ignoring me, and I'm like, "Hey, baby girl, hey, girl, what's up? I know I'm late, but you know I'm here.
Right.
Don't be mad at me." And she finally starts to acknowledge. She starts to look at me a little bit, but I thought I would like break down seeing her. Like she was definitely in skeleton form. But I didn't. I was actually kind of just like, just happy I was there with her. That I was spending those last moments with her. Like that's all that mattered to me. Like I didn't even give a fuck. Like I was just happy to be there. Like I'm doing the right thing. This is who I want to be by. Like I love her. You know what I'm saying? And getting ready to leave, I was like, bye, baby. I was, because you go into that, they're starting to change and transition, and that's baby to me.
Right.
And I was like, can I get a hug? And her baby father's like, you don't give her a hug? And she was like, she shakes her head. And I'm like, he asked her, I asked her, I was like, do you want to see me again? You want me to come back? She says, yes. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to be back. I leave, and I just prepare myself. Once I leave the house, I just prepare myself mentally, like,
right.
The next time I came back with Stan, and he wanted to see her too, because he worked with her, and she was a little bit more vocal this day. I guess she had some sugar in her system, because all she was eating was like slushies and like just medicine, just to keep her going. So she had a little sugar in her system, so she was a little up. And I'm like, hey, Auntie, what's going on? How you doing? Hey, Stan, you see Stan? And she sees Stan, and she looking at me, and she's looking at her baby father and stuff. And he stepped out the room for a minute. And while she's just sitting there resting, of course, not saying much, Stan and I start talking about our jobs and how stressed we were. Like, oh, we're so stressed about our job, and what we're going to do. I feel like quitting and this. And she gets up a little bit, moves up a little bit off the bed, and she's like, and that same Angie, like, and I knew what that meant. And it basically was, to me, she was trying to talk. She was like, called the baby father in the room, called Linnell in the room. And he was like, what you trying to say? And she was like, don't. And she had to take a break because it was too much energy. And I knew what she was saying. Mm-hmm. And basically she was like, don't let that shit stress you.
Right.
Don't let that shit stress you. Immediately, I knew what I was going to do about the job I was at the time, and just period with my life. And that's all I needed. I just wanted those gems dropped. Like, that's always for me, like when people die, like, what should I be doing? What would you have done differently in this lifetime? That's all I wanted to hear from her. It's like, what should I be doing? And that right there was enough. Mm-hmm. Right there, I was like, I knew what I had to do. A lot was going on with my job at the time, my life at the time. I had just ended a relationship. I was about to end a relationship I was in for a few years I wasn't satisfied with. Job I wasn't satisfied with. Friendships I wasn't satisfied with. I went to Atlanta for a week right after that, because I knew by the time I came back, she probably would have been passed away. Mm-hmm. So I just needed a little mental break. Quit my job. Took a break in Atlanta for five days. Took a long bus trip to Atlanta, a 14-hour trip, just to reflect. And she was big on road trips, so it was in honor of her. And stayed in Atlanta with my best friend Michelle for a week. The second day into the trip, she had passed away. Mm-hmm. And my best friend cried immediately, and it didn't hit me just then. I was just like, well, got to prepare when I come back to get ready for the funeral and things. Start posting pictures on Instagram, just memories of her, saying I loved her. Not really announcing her death, but just being like, I love her. She's very secretive, and a lot of people didn't know she had cancer. A lot of our classmates from school didn't know. A lot of people didn't know at all. Mm-hmm. It didn't hit me until the third day in Atlanta at dinner. And
It's okay.
this hell was gonna cry. I don't get no tears. We were at dinner, and that was the worst day ever. It was so hard to get through that day. It was so hard. Not a cocktail, not a piece of seafood could prepare me for how I felt that day. It just wasn't a good day. And I cried most of the day. And my girlfriend didn't know how to respond to it. She just sat there and was kind of angry a little bit because she didn't know what to do to help me. And that was it. That was the last of the sad tears. You know. So yeah.
So from that, I know you said that last interaction that you got, you were able to get that moment where you got that reassurance of what you needed to do.
Yeah.
So coming out of it, has there been any other moments that you've gotten like, okay, this is what I needed to do?
Yeah,
this
definitely.
is what she wanted me to know.
Definitely. Once I came back from Atlanta and the funeral was that weekend, the funeral was beautiful, easy, not much to it. It was nice. Spoke on her behalf. She had it was the five of us, her five close best friends, basically her sisters, and we all spoke for her. I was good. I was at peace. It felt like she feels like an angel to me. And I know the preacher did a sermon about angels. Her name was Angela. And he just kind of put it together. And it was beautiful. It made sense. And I would say this, that out of all the deaths I've experienced, this one I feel the most at peace and I'm not fearful about, because I feel she's still here in spirit. And I was feeling bouts of loneliness before this. Like if I go out by myself or do things by myself. I don't feel like that anymore. Like I don't feel 1 ounce of loneliness. I feel that she's right here, going everywhere with me, to the mall, to the movie, all the things we love to do, out to eat. I feel she's right there. Like I don't feel any loneliness. I feel some kind of security or something. It's so weird. It's just like after she passed away, it was a confidence that came over me, and just the reassurance, and I feel like I'm shedding old skin every day. I feel like I'm beginning to be a new person.
Okay.
It's been beautiful, honestly.
Okay. All right. So, one question, I know when you originally heard, you told her that you was gonna make sure she got her the best wig. Did you make sure she got the best wig?
The family did. Now her
Okay.
baby daddy did not play. He knew, because he's a little stylish. He knew. Let me tell you, honey, in that casket she looked amazing.
Okay.
The makeup on point, the wig was on point, and it's so funny. I walked into the casket and I was like, "They did you right, bitch." They did you right. Yes, they did.
Okay.
Nails was done. Everything was on point. They did her right. She did not play. She did not play about that. That's one thing all my friends joke about, is how we gonna look. She did not. They did not play. They did a really good job. I didn't have to say one thing. That she looked amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, coming from this, I know this was actually pretty recent for you.
Mm-hmm.
How are you? I know you said that every day you're gaining the strength. You never feel alone. How are you walking through life now with this newfound confidence? And
I feel better now. Like I said, I was going through some things before her death. Just getting older, life and everything, what we all go through. And I was feeling lonely, and I just feel like I didn't have anybody there, anybody understand. And now I just feel stronger, more confident. Kind of how she was very independent. Mm-hmm. So, and I was too, but even more so. Like I feel more independent. I'm more aware of my health, which was going on for years, but now even more so. A lot of things I've done and taken steps into just like avoiding certain things. And I just think as women and black women, what I would like to say is we have to eliminate stress because that is the root and cause of all diseases. We have to do that. We say, no, no, no. You have to do it. If you value your life and those around you, you will watch out for that. And your diet. Diet and stress are two important things. Just do things in moderation. Like, I'm not saying do things cold turkey, but just do things in moderation and watch your stress level.
Okay. So if you feel like if you had one more chance to have one last word to her, what would that be?
Man, I would just say, bitch. That's my love language to my friends. I'm like, bitch. And I would just say again, I was like, I love you.
Okay.
I love you, Angie. I love you, Angie girl. I love you, girl. That's all I would want to say to her. And maybe kick it going on one last little troublemaking, what we used to get into a little trouble, whatever like that. That's what I would, that's it.
Okay. All right.